I'm sorry. Let's back up.
I'm still worried that the Ocean Keeper is...
The Ocean Keeper?
Yeah. The terrible place, and they had the underwater.
She is the head of Sweet Shallows, the ranking authority. The reason they've set up in Skullport was to directly poison Waterdeep. Is the Kraken...
That would be the boss, yes.
And that's what you're gonna go fight? Yeah.
We have reason to believe that the Kraken is controlling a part of Undermountain. And
There's this undead aboleth that's really just the worst. It's gone now, but...
Is there something we can assist with, or would our presence be more harmful than helpful?
Your presence escalates.
That's fair.
Everything.
I was going to put
tagline.
something else, but at least for now, while everything may not be great, it also is not, and she looks out the window, openly on fire. Since you are good at escalating, is there any chance you're going to be taking that force and applying it somewhere else? Like
Yes.
where these people are coming from?
We are planning an assault on the Purple Isles. The hope is that it will cause many of their operations to be brought back. This is going to be not a full destruction, but a hit and run. Take out key targets on the Isles, make them pull back forces to prepare and defend. It seems like our ability to, for lack of a better word, throw things at the problem will be very good for this specific type of fight, because it's going to be somewhat chaotic and it's going to be large. This is not a focused assault on a single person. In my humble opinion, I feel like we have damage. Check. We can do damage. I think there is nothing. We have that solved. What we need to solve for are how do we get in, how do we survive, and how do we get out. So,
yeah, the survival thing makes the Death Shadow item appealing to me.
That's very useful. Especially for you specifically. Although, not to put too fine a point on it, it wouldn't have saved you in Waterdeep.
That's true. That is a really good point.
Yeah,
that makes me feel a little better.
There are.
What are the chances?
You're at a high level. You're going to face threats that don't
I'm so scared.
that don't play fair. If you hit 0, there are strong chances that means you don't get healed. It just means, oh boy.
Lindsay put something that. Here we go. Stun is brutal. There's one spell in the whole game that removes it. We don't have it. We can boost our ability to save
Oddly
against
enough,
it.
You murdered the one guy you knew that could do it. Johnny Awesome. You needed a 20th level bard to be able to cast it, basically.
Wow.
Got it.
My priorities, though, water breathing and getting full movement underwater would be great. Feels like a potion can take care of that. And more importantly, resistances to stun and or fear and some of these other, fuckery things like we were talking about.
That's
I
hard.
apologize. I've not had a chance to do the super deep research required to answer that question on my own.
We could boost your ability to resist magic as a sort of, but also
just increase that.
Right.
I guess there's nothing that gives you like blanket increases or advantages against those sorts of saves. Because usually,
there's a headbanded intellect that would turn your into 19, so that would give you a +4 to resistance, for example. For fear, Hero's Feast makes you immune to it. Does cost 6 level spell slot and 1,000 gold.
We could find someone who could do that.
we should definitely,
we could pay money.
we should definitely do a Hero's Feast before we,
Right.
Like it?
I assume the headband requires attunement.
Mm-hmm.
It will require
Does a hard modification of stats does that, because otherwise you can just be like, I am 19. You have 19. You have 19.
What are your 3 attunements right now, Brottor? Maybe you could.
Sword, boots of speed, ion stone, and protection.
Of those, I suspect we're going to be in melee combat, right? But I suspect more pressing one might be resistances. So perhaps the Ion Stone. Reading through. Oh, she already has this written down. Do you want to go through the plan, Faye, or?
Yeah. That's pretty much all I got. Is that Heroes Feast, and then the night before we'll go to Arborea and take our long rest, and from there, we will somehow plane shift onto the island, and I'm not sure if that's me or if that's Alice's necklace. We'll
Who is?
break stuff
Sorry,
and people, and then leave via the wild hunt stuff. I will go somewhere else, and then I can call you guys, and immediately you will be wherever I decide to go.
I love it.
I was reading your notes. People can use a Stone of Recall to leave. The word of recall specifies you can take 5 willing creatures. You set it to a location strongly linked to your deity, so I'll take care of that unless someone else has found religion recently.
I don't know what y'all do.
No, absolutely. So, all right. Our plan is to prep. One of the things we're prepping is that we will buy a Stone of Recall, which does not require attunement, right?
I think that's
Let's get 2 of them. And yes, that's correct. It does not require attunement.
Okay. We're going to get some sending stones just in case. I'm sure we had some before. We have the money. We can get some more. 2 stones of recall mean that if we get separated, we can still yoink out of there. The idea being our ultimate goal is to kill the Ocean Master. Ocean Keeper. My bad. The Ocean Keeper.
Ocean Master.
And exactly. The secondary goal is to cause chaos and destruction on the way to there, and the tertiary goal is to try to make sure they can't immediately strike back against Waterdeep. With that in mind, we have a choice. Do we, as soon as we're done, port to Waterdeep in case it needs defending, as Faye has mentioned, or do we port somewhere unrelated to Waterdeep? In case to get the heat right. If we are bringing something, the heat.
Who can handle the heat without getting out of the kitchen?
I have 2 more thoughts. First of all, how do we find Ocean Keeper Tower? And second of all, the school for psychic people on the island, those are...
School Academy of something.
I'm not going to remember that. Is there any chance that we're just going to be killing like innocent kids?
Always. Would it be a Tuesday night special?
So
they were taking kids from like Waterdeep at one point.
Did interrupt some slaver ops, yeah.
The chance is there. What I will say is this. If we were to go there and attack them and damage or kill them, it would be no different than if they were used either against their will or with their will in an attack on Waterdeep, except that more people would die in the latter scenario. Ideally, this is the beginning of stopping all of this. Presumably, if we kill the Kraken, whatever that looks like, this whole operation stops. But unfortunately, I think we're not dropping hot fire on the entire island from the sky. Because we could do something like that, right? We're coming in and hitting specific places that were vital to this operation. I suspect there will be people who have been coerced or dominated or raised to believe this. And unfortunately, I think they should be treated as enemy combatants. It's harsh, but in many cases we've seen their minds are not their own. And the instant they are, they beg for death. We've seen that happen. And then it's been granted in bloody ways by people that are not us.
I think I
That
just
being
wanted
said-
everyone to be aware,
Right.
of that.
Table stakes, be aware.
For
There are
when
bad people,
afterwards.
but there's a spectrum.
That being said, if we see people that are not fighting us,
We don't shoot them.
we don't throw the lions in that direction. We throw the lions in another direction,
When
right?
the people are shooting at us.
Where the people are shooting at us, exactly.
And also, so how can we find the Ocean Keeper, Caloran, when we get there? Do
Good
we
question.
So,
have?
I will recall a few things that time perhaps has eroded. A number of the people on the island are in part or partially blessed by the Kraken or other eldritch powers, giving them powers over the ocean or seas, or being part squid, right? The girl you met, Orenna, right, was an octopus from the waist down. You saw the people who had like a crab claw kind of a vibe. So there are people who will be extra. As a general rule, the population on the island is smarter. They value intelligence, specifically forbidden knowledge and all things like that above most things. They don't have a concept of don't learn that or that's forbidden. So just in general, you should expect a smarter population. The Cruel Academy of Arcana and Arts is named for Jendok Cruel. He runs everything there. Ocean Keeper Caloran is the number 2 to the Kraken. She looks like a squid person. And you, Vex, found her at the Deepwater Cathedral. It is a very huge, watery temple place dedicated to their proselytization and rituals concerning the Tide Father, a name they provide to Slarkathel.
Gosh, it's been a while.
Yeah, there was the Salt, and then one of the other places of note was the Salt and Silver Stockades, which are 2 distinct locations that are adjoining or nearby. The Salt section, which is just kind of like a shanty place on the beach, and then the Silver, which is much, much nicer, that is slightly more inland, depending on the type of human chattel or person chattel, whatever, that is being offered.
I think our initial plan was for us to assault the Deepwater Cathedral, for the Harpers and their magical prowess to assault the Coral Academy, and for the Giants to just cause destruction and free as many slaves as they can in the stockades, was the tentative plan. It plays to our strengths better. Mages fighting mages would probably be better than us. Although most of us are mages. In fact, only Brottor can't cast spells, I think.
I think I can cast a couple.
Well, we can all cast spells now, depending on the definition of a spellcaster, but dedicated spellcasters, perhaps. Would be better fighting the academy. And I think
detect the hell out of good and evil. I can tell you
exactly. Well, you may not need to use that on this island, but we'll find out, I suppose. Also, I think it's less this Kroll person sounds awful. I'm sure they're terrible, and killing them would be a benefit to all on Faerun. However, they're not the number 2 to the Kraken. Right. Our most important priority is the Ocean Keeper, and we should do that ourselves. So, I think that's our tentative plan for now, is send the Harpers against the Academy, send the Giants against the Stockades, with the intent to free slaves and cause chaos, essentially. And perhaps take some back when they yoink out of there. And then we will go to the Deepwater Cathedral. How accurate will our entrance into the Isles be?
What's your method of transportation?
The amulet, right?
No, it's the spell, right?
Plane shift.
Teleportation.
Yeah, the
Plane shift.
Wibbly. Plane shift is you'll try and get close, but it is ultimately a... Yeah, you get kind of close.
How close is kind of close? But as in, would we
You'll be on the island.
Perfect? That's fine. We can travel very quickly if we need to. If we need to do so. If we only need to travel.
But yeah, you will transport it to a different plane of existence. You can specify a target destination in general terms, such as the City of Brass on the elemental plane, or the Palace of Dispater on the second level of the Nine Hells, and you appear in or near that destination.
So we could say the Deepwater Cathedral.
Yes. And if you're trying to reach the City of Brass, for example, you might arrive on the Street of Steel before its Grate of Ashes, looking at the street at the DM's discretion.
Okay. Perfect. Let's say worst case scenario. How far away would we be, given your arcane knowledge?
In the town.
Okay. That's not the worst.
You will be in the ship one way or another with that spell, if you so choose. Obviously, if you wanted to say, get me a mile off water from it, then that's a little different. But
right. But we don't particularly want that either. Is that the most precise method of transportation we have available?
Potentially there's teleport, which can do more specific down to like a specific circle of teleportation. But you'd obviously have to do some recon and see if they have one.
Right.
Though, of course, you did find out that they are teleporting people all over the north, so presumably it's there, but obviously maybe
we don't know.
Guarded. You don't know if it's there, but obviously that would be a there.
Right. Okay. Then I guess we will plane shift still, as was the original plan of phase, and instruct everyone what their targets are. If we're too far off target, we still march to the cathedral as efficiently as possible. At the worst, we have a magic carpet for the three of you to fly, but you could also purchase a broom for personal flight if that's something you'd like. We have the money for that. Second, water. If we get surrounded by water or engulfed by water, I can breathe water naturally now. I haven't tried it, but I trust that the sword does what. I'll try that out sometime before we go. I'll
just shove your head into a bucket.
Exactly, to see if I can breathe through it. Perfect. So Faye has two spells.
Yeah, but and
they're rituals, so you don't even have to take a spell.
The breathing, I think, is going to be the most important one, but the walking is a great, nice to have. All right, so perfect. That takes care of those then. So it sounds like what we need to do next is I need to test if I can actually breathe underwater. Go to Agador's and purchase the stones of recall, the sending stones, some potions just to fill ourselves out, and then possibly a broom.
Or something else that we wanted to look into from Agador's?
I've still got potions of psychic resistance. I don't know if you guys still have any years.
That would be a great thing to track and be aware of. Figurines of wondrous power don't require attunement. One of them is a giant owl that can scout, that you're telepathically linked to. Of course, it is giant, so, not super stealthy. And the other one is a pair of lions, which are, it's what you get on the tin. It says, you need a pair of lions. Deal with this.
Alice.
I don't see no humans here.
As one of our most potent offensive spellcasters, they might try to split you up, target you, and you don't have natural flight. If you don't buy a broom, you could get the giant owl figurine that would allow you to use it for flight.
Okay.
If that's something you'd like. Otherwise, would you like two lions?
Would I like what?
Two lions that you could just throw in an oh shit scenario.
Yeah, unless they're sea lions.
They're not sea lions, sadly.
I think I'm going to have to go with the owl. That does sound basic.
Faye, do you want some lions just to throw with your menagerie?
I always will take some lions.
When in doubt.
I believe the cape.
While we're talking about attuned items, just want to remind you, just because I haven't used it in a long time, I still am using that dagger, the star metal sliver that rotates around me. I just want to remind you, in case it comes up in battle, and you're like, it's not active. I'm always keeping it active.
Okay. Oh, so you mean it's always floating around?
It's always floating around. Yeah.
Sure. I like that. Thank you for reminding me. Can you guys reverse gravity with that thing?
Yeah, it's sick. I'm waiting for the opportunity to use it. I remember I pulled that guy into lava and it didn't work. That was upsetting.
I'm sorry. I do apologize about that. That was very cool. I did enjoy the moment and was also a little butthurt by it. But I think shortly thereafter, I ate a couple of you with an ooze that was also full of a giant shark that was electrified. So I felt sweet. A lot better right afterwards.
Yeah.
It was a good day.
John, just a question. Sorry, Thor. I was reading through some of these things. How do you track this durable magic perk?
Which one?
When you're concentrating on a spell, you have a +2 bonus to all saving throws.
I rarely concentrate on spells.
Cool. Okay. Got it.
And that kind of solves both problems. Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's really good.
Simple solutions.
Yeah.
I just don't ever do it.
Yeah. Perfect.
I really don't have many concentration spells.
The minute meteors, though, right? Isn't that one of them?
That's true. Fair enough. Oh, that's a good point.
So
Wait, does it require concentration?
I mean, I would think so. Usually, the ability to shoot fire out of your ass requires some amount of concentration.
Where did you see that durable magic thing? That's
under your Mind of the Master.
Yeah, it's the big mind upgrade you got that changed your entire character.
+2 to all saving throws.
Yes. If you're concentrating on a spell, yeah.
To be fair, it did change my character, but it was a ton of information.
It's also true.
Is that okay? You know what?
I mean, I got 85% of it, maybe.
And yes, the meteors are a concentration for 10 minutes.
I can already see that the biggest problem is going to be remember the name of durable magic.
It's all good.
I'm just going to say, it's a +2.
Yeah, I mean, I can try and just pick a color or token or whatever, and I can flag your character with a little whatchamacallit.
Oh, sweet.
But yeah, so
well, I don't want you to know that it's happening.
I'm the DM. If I don't know it's happening, it's not happening.
He does have to know.
I want you to attack and then realize that I had it.
Yeah, I like this sort of equipping ourselves for the big fight ahead.
Me too.
I think everything else, though. Vex, what are your 3 attunements?
I have 4 attunements.
Right.
I have my Star Metal Sliver. I have my bookmark. I have my Boots of Speed, and I have the egg.
I don't think the egg requires attunement. One of the slots has to be the Allspark.
Because that's what gives you the 4th attunement.
Yes.
It's a free attunement slot, basically.
Yes.
Gotcha. Oh, well then the Allspark is one of them, and I don't have Boots of Speed.
Okay.
I never used them anyway either. So
it's Star Metal Sliver, bookmark, Allspark,
and the rod of the lightning rod.
Perfect.
Rod of Storms.
Rod of Storms.
That sounds much cooler. Lightning rod is.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it.
It's basically a lightning rod, but yeah, I get you.
Sorry, do you guys know what the type of damage that we'll probably be expecting to take?
Welcome
psychic.
to the first part of this call.
Psychic and possibly lightning.
Okay.
I don't.
You have faced a lot of psychic before. Definitely some lightning. Potentially, you're going up against a group of wizardy people, which does open the spectrum up to the whole array of pain.
Okay.
But by and large, a lot of psychic damage, a lot of lightning damage. Less lightning, more psychic.
Otherwise, as far as items, I still would like to ask Draxel if he has an explosive. Just a
explosives.
One.
Sure.
Because otherwise it's spag beans. And then Agador about saves against stuns, possibly. Just because
if he has something.
I'm sure Agador and the Keeper of All Knowledge would know. If we
say the flattery for Agador, but it might work.
The shopping list one more time. There's a lot of stuff. I just want to make sure that everything I had in mind was on there.
It's on the. I'll read from the Google Doc.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's on the doc.
No, not a problem.
Yeah.
I'll read from the Google Doc. Scroll of Telepathy, in case we need it. Stone of Recall ×2. sending stone. Perhaps some type of flight, so brooms, if you guys want them. Health potions,
scrolls of flight,
potions of heroism, explosives, bags of beans, potion of heroism, fear, 10 hit points.
It's good to have.
But if we're doing a hero's feast, though, we don't need that. Spell magic scroll is on here. That's
By the way,
useful.
When you said that, I was imagining that scene from A New Hope where they were like, "Oh, there's no life signs. We don't need to shoot at that.
We don't need to shoot that. Yeah.
Just let it go. We'll find it later.
Temp HP. We've got an extra 2d10 already.
It'll be fine. But at least for the fear part.
Yes.
Even if the temp HP goes away, I believe you still have the immunity to fear.
Yep, that lasts an hour.
Perfect.
Another one that's helpful in that same vein is a spell called Intellect Fortress. It is concentration. It lasts an hour. But potentially in the same vein, most spells of that tier are available as either scrolls or potions. So that's an hour of int, whiz, and charisma saves at advantage.
Oh boy, yes. At least for me. I know you may not need this, Vex, but
no, yeah.
Those of us with less hard minds.
I mean, I'll take any advantage I can get. Also, can I add a couple? I want to buy a couple of supreme healing potions.
Yeah, healing potions are on here too.
Okay. One of the things that Faye mentioned, and I know we talked about attunement being tapped out, but you do still have a spell gem of the ruby spell gem.
Yep.
So, and you can have an 8th level spell keystered from whomever cast it. So if you have someone powerful that can cast a powerful spell, you can just hold on to it and then, let her rip when you need to.
I think we've equipped ourselves as much as we can. We have a tentative idea of the plan. We've already spoken with, I think at the end of last session, I went up to Sarissa to make sure that she still had, she was still going to send reinforcements. I don't know if we can go through that, but I think I mentioned I was going to go up there.
That's right.
Am I going to send my sister there too?
Right. So okay? Does your sister want to be in a castle full of giants, or does she want to be in Waterdeep? Both will be pretty well defended, I feel. One is more...
Oh, sorry. Oh, a bunch of elves in the forest far away from an ocean.
Actually, that might be a better plan. Because realizing now the Maelstrom is technically the most in water you could be.
That's a good point.
You could also just leave her in Arborea.
It's fair, but that seems
potentially problematic.
It's a limited time.
Let's have her be in a nice elven city.
Can you imagine if the worst should happen and then your sister is just left on? I mean, there could be worse places to be abandoned.
Right.
But also,
that needs to be a lot, yeah. Okay, one of the things then, just so Uthal knows, Uthal, when you go back and talk to Sarissa, you can talk about all that stuff. She's happy to confirm your previous engagement. She does have 3 giants that would be happy to shake shit up on the rockage. She will tell you that Golemog has just finished relatively recently some of the work that she's had him do. As you know, she took a lot of Imrith, took that head and mounted it on her big chair, but she made some other parts out of it. This one.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh.
Well
then, these are wonderful pieces of armor. I think I know exactly who they need to go to. We'll be happy to accept this in our fight against the Kraken. And it looks like if there are any dragons that need dealing with, this would be extraordinarily helpful for that.
It only seemed appropriate given your fearless contributions to resolving our worm problem.
Hopefully there are no more worm problems of that magnitude for some time.
No, I hope not. There's only a few of the ancient ones. You know what? Let's not worry about it.
We've got Krakens to deal with before Clouths to deal with, whatever. Well, excellent. They will be the Tuesday nights are very appreciative of your help, as always, Queen Sarissa.
Where did we land on my sister? Did we
Tell us. She is your sister. Where would you like to put her?
Your options include, but are not limited to, a palace in the middle of the ocean.
Under the ocean.
Under the ocean.
Yeah, the middle.
Under the ocean. Made, populated by people that are 10 to 20 times her size.
Nice. Seems not terrifying.
Cancels out.
Or
Some people are into that.
Yeah, right. Some people are. Or a port town that she's
Near
been in
the
that has been
water.
attacked near the water.
But it's got a great view.
Or perhaps an ancient elven city away from the ocean, but still with some running water.
It does go to the Feywild every
so often.
Comes back.
I was actually thinking maybe Everesca, because the person I know who can cast Heroes for us is the person who has the shrine to Corellian there. But yeah,
excellent.
So
that's also
Everesca,
so many options.
Hold on. There's a big benefit to Everesca, which is that we're not as closely tied to Everesca. I mean, we obviously did do them a huge service, but we're tied to the place where you're
shit all over Everesca like you did Waterdeep. Is that what you're going for? Yes.
Kind of. Like there's a place where one of our wives lives, and there's a place where none of our relatives live. And if we're between that, right? I don't know.
Protected by an ancient mythol. Yeah, which I don't remember what even.
Did we restore that? It's a little fuzzy now. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened since
I
then.
think is what
you stopped the attack on it. That's for sure.
Right. That's fair.
Remember, what the intent was, they couldn't destroy the mythol, so they were just going to put the city on a different plane of existence.
Right. That's right.
It's better now. We fixed it.
It's better now.
All done.
The Trojan horse by digging underneath the city.
So yes, I think Everesca is a great call, actually.
I like that. Let's do that. That would make me feel better. Yeah.
And you're half elf. You can get in touch with your elfie side.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Lambda spread.
I might even grab an extra pair of sending stones just for us to always have, because that would be smart.
That's on the shopping list. Is all of us having sending stones, just so we always can do cell phone
I want to be
communication.
able to contact the Harpers who are going to be with us. Vajra maybe, or someone in Waterdeep that we can tell if something is really, really coming for them.
I love it.
And then stuff for us, in case we're separated at the end of the day. If someone has to use a stone of recall and someone else is on a different plane. So sending stones.
We can send something out to Vajra that I think you mentioned the other night. It's like, come if convenient. If inconvenient, call them all the time.
I like to just imagine somebody picks up the sending stone. What's it doing now? God, I just hear screaming.
That's weird.
It's just one scream that just goes on and on. It's like, it's supposed to go for 25 words. Let's do the rest of it. Still going.
Shreds, you say?
It shreds.
All right, I think we're ready to go shopping.
Touchstone. You show up in the white and black facade of Agador's 3-story pocket dimension.